So let me share with you the story of how I always was interested in real estate. I knew that's where you could create wealth. I didn't know the details of what I know now, but I always knew that that had to be a component to create wealth. Never did I realize it would be as big and as major of a component as what it should be. So anyway, how I got into real estate and that really turned it on for me is one of my patients was an investor realtor. He was an investor primarily, but he was also a realtor. But my point in saying that is he knew investment strategies. Realtors don't know investment strategies. He was an investor, so he knew investment strategies. So he said to me, I was new in practice. I didn't think I could buy a home. I'd only been in practice maybe 5-6 months, not very long. And so I didn't have 2 years of tax returns and all that kind of stuff. And so he just, basically when we're talking, he goes, hey, did you buy a home yet? I'm like, no. He goes, I can help you buy a home. I said, well, I can't because of blah, blah, blah. He goes, that's not a problem. I can show you how to buy a home. I'm like, what? Changed my life. He taught me owner financing. He goes, you don't need to. I said, we can just do owner financing. I go, what's owner financing? He goes, well, you don't take a bank loan out. Basically, the person selling a home is who you take the loan through, and you pay them. Or you pay their mortgage. I'm like, oh, you can do that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went and started looking for homes. He goes, can you put a deposit down? I said, yeah. So I think I had like $10,000. I go, yeah, I can put like $10,000 down. He goes, okay, that's enough. We can buy a home. He goes, just pick where you want to live. Told me what, he goes, pick what area you want to live. I go, this, area right here. So then he does his research and goes into the neighborhoods and all this. So he did the research that I now know. I didn't know at the time. Pulls up this house, real nice house. It was my first house. It was 2,500 square feet, 4 bedroom, 2 bath, full basement. It was 2,500 square feet top floor. I built out 2/3 of the basement, so it would have been if you included the basement, it would have been 3,500. And I was single. 2-car garage. It's like, wow. That was like a big deal. A nice neighborhood. My doctor on the right, my neighbor on the right was a medical doctor. Across the street was a dentist. I'm 27 years old. So I'm like feeling pretty good. So anyway, I buy it. I put $10,000 down, owner financing. I'm like, I was so excited. I'm like, you can do this. You can buy real estate without bank loans. I was a kid in a candy store. So, and he knew I knew how to make a decision. I don't waffle around. So we had not a partnership. I don't want to say that. We did not have a legal partnership. So we just had an agreement. We said, why don't you find the properties? I'm practicing. So why don't you find the properties, call me, and let me take a look at them. I said, and he always ran them by me first because he knew I wouldn't waffle around. I wouldn't drag them around. So that's what happened. He would call me. He goes, hey, Dr. Paul, I found this potential property over here, blah, blah, blah. I would run over at lunch. If I got it before lunch, I would run over at lunch to look. And my first thing I always did is I just looked at the neighborhood and the outside. Just for me, for like yes or no. And then then I would call him back that day, or it was after work, and then I'd call him that night. So he knew this was going to happen. He knew he was going to get an answer in 24 hours. So I'd call him back and I'd go, no, blah, 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 whatever. Or I'd go, yeah, that looks like I might be interested in that. Boom. He'd pick up the phone that day and immediately in the next day or two, get into the house. Okay? Now you don't need a realtor at all, but I didn't know enough to do all this by myself. Which was fine because, for me, but he wasn't a realtor mindset, he was an investor mindset, and there's a huge difference. So he would say, yeah, can we look at it? So we'd try to get in there in the next day or two, and then I would walk in, go through with him to check everything out. I'd get an idea of and he taught me a lot, just a lot, just walking me through everything, the neighborhoods, outside, what to look for, inside, what to pay attention to, just a lot of the basics. you know, the kitchen, and even the basics with simple repairs. So it was a fantastic kind of mentorship is kind of what it was. It was kind of an accidental mentorship is what it was. And so I had a good idea. I had a good idea of the neighborhood. I have a good idea of what's involved, the cosmetics involved and all that. And by the time we walked out, I would tell them, said, yeah, let's negotiate it. Or I'd go, no, I'm not interested. It was that fast. It was that fast. And then we would negotiate it. And then we would come back with owner financing. And we'll cover owner financing, the steps to owner financing. But there's many different ways to owner finance. Many. And I didn't even know that. I thought you always had to go to a damn bank and get a mortgage. Not only do you not have to, you can do owner financing. There's several different ways to do owner financing. I'm like, my God. Kid in the candy store. I was just picking up left and right. It hit all the criteria, cash flowed, deposit, owner financing, boom. I was just picking them up left and right. That's how my net worth increased over $1 million with real estate before it did chiropractic. That's how it started. Hasn't stopped since. I've only bought one piece of property with a mortgage, only one. Everything I bought millions of dollars. Last year I bought about $800,000 worth of real estate, 800 to $1 million. It's worth $1 million now. No bank loans, owner financing.